Hello, family and friends. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Jackson Galaxy video blog. My name is Jackson Galaxy. This is my video blog. I'm super tired and super inspired. I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. So, I haven't made a lot of videos. I don't make a lot of videos anymore. I don't consider myself a YouTuber or a Twitch person or anything else. I just make videos when I feel like making videos. And then, yes, I'm in a Superman onesie. Don't even worry about it. It's fine. I didn't buy this for myself, and nobody bought it for me, but it ended up in my house, so now I own it and it's mine. And that is true. It was the whole, I'm not even sure of the entire story. It's like the boyfriend of my aunt bought it for his grandson or something that didn't fit him. Anyway, that is not important. What is important is that this time last year, I was getting ready to leave and made a video called Good Riddance to 2017, where I recapped 2017 and how absolutely terrible and stupid it was, because it was just like a terrible year all the time, which is why at the end of that video, I make a declaration that I'm going to make 2018 the best year ever as soon as I figure out how. And 2018 for me has, it's hard to say that it's been the best year ever. It's definitely been the best year ever since like high school for me or something like that. So uh, I feel like I did a pretty good job of making 2018 my best year ever. Um, Through, you know, health and exercise and all the other stuff that's talked about in my last video. Um, and so it's unlikely that I will be going back down to southern Utah, um, although not decided, because last time it was this snowy, which I don't want to get up because I'm very tired. I want to go to sleep, but it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. So when it's snowy outside and crappy and stuff, my grandmother will go down to her trailer house to live, because that's why she has the trailer house, is to be a snowbird and get out of the snow and go down to the nice warm desert, which is where I'm from and where I prefer to be, and all that kind of stuff, which is not new. I've talked about it a million times on this channel. It's it's interesting to go back and watch a lot of my old videos, which is why I make this video blog thing. It's like a journal for me to go back and watch stuff. But because it's just for me and not a lot happens to me, and I don't necessarily go out of my way to make a lot of stuff happen, uh, oftentimes it's very cyclical. It's very samey. At the same time, every year, I basically play the same video games, because video games themselves don't really change very much. They just get updated, but they exist for a long time because a subscription model makes way more money than a single purchase model, not just for video games, but for everything. That's why Amazon is on track to be the first $1 trillion company in the world, which is super interesting to me, and like all this other stuff. But so like 2018 was a great year, and it was really quick feeling in comparison to a lot of the last like several years that I've had. Um, I tried a bunch of new stuff, and I learned a bunch of new stuff, and I started being more committed to just being better and happier and all the other things. And it worked. It was great, and I highly recommend all the things that I talked about in the last like couple of videos and everything else. Um, but the stuff that I've had problems with are still the same things that I have problems with now, and I don't have um, solutions for everything. Although I have greatly and significantly improved lots of things like mood and attitude and like just like depression and existential dread and all of the other things that sort of come with like the nature of like sort of being a fundamentally depressed person, um, even outside of having depression, right? Like I don't think that I have compression. I don't think that I am depressed in the same way that somebody who is clinically or medically depressed is or could be or whatever. Because mine tends to go away whenever I change environments. So it's just like a matter of mindset, more or less. And so now that I've known that for a lot of years, but like have finally figured out a way to like adapt to that. And cats are playing in the litter box. Um, like, so the physical things, like the chemistry of my brain, the fact that I don't seem to adhere to any sort of circadian rhythm whatsoever, and the fact that I never have an income are still the same like major problems. Or I look at them differently now, so I wouldn't necessarily even call them problems now. Those are just like the facts of my life, and they are facts that I would like regularly in the last several years have wanted to change those things and being unable to. And now, while it would be nice, I don't necessarily want to change those things in the same capacity. It's hard to explain. It's more like just sort of like an acceptance of those things, like as they are true, without judging them as like negative or problems or whatever. Um, and that's like incredibly useful as a skill to have or just like a thing to know about, that you can do that. Like you decide how you react to any situation or problem. So my dad just turned the light off. um so like the things that I would consider problems or whatever, or that I used to would have considered problems, I don't necessarily consider um, problems anymore. I've sort of lost track of what I was doing because I'm super tired, and Dad just threw off my entire train of thought by turning the light off while I was kind of using it. Not that it really seems to make any difference in this video, um, but yeah, so I guess that's just it. Like, the things that have actually changed are very few, but the things that have changed within me are great and substantial. And when I say great, I mean like vast, like a great ocean. But also great, like a cheese grater. No, just like it's awesome. It's awesome like a hot dog. Um, which is like a whole other thing. Um, so I've had a couple of thoughts as to like what I was going to do, and I've talked about it a little bit in the last video where I was like, maybe I could do like a YouTube review channel, not necessarily to make ad revenue, but to just make something and then also see if making that thing could make me money in some capacity, like even if it's not through ad revenue or the money wasn't coming from YouTube, but like getting a company or something to send me a product that they make, and I essentially tell them the value of their product and like help them, I'm doing a service for them, something like that. Clearly I haven't thought all of it through yet, but I'm also not currently acting on that because I'm in my Superman onesie. Look at my abs. My abs look great right now. All me. And then another thought that I had today was that there's so many things competing for distribution and media space And what I actually did in college was screenwriting, like movies and TV shows and stuff, like learning how to write scripts is ultimately what I ended up focusing on with my film degree. And like Netflix and Amazon Video and Hulu and Disney Flix, which isn't out yet but probably will be soon, YouTube originals, and like all of these things are competing right now, and they will be continuing to compete for the next foreseeable like 10-year block until one of them essentially emerges victorious with, you know, they'll probably at some capacity all exist at the same time or whatever. But I could write some shows for them. Mostly probably like children's programming, or at least young skewed, teenager programming. But I don't know, like get hired as a writer for anything else, or even not get hired as a writer, but just being able to like write a script and then sell them a script is something that I have considered just within the last like 2 hours before I started making this video. I was like, wait a minute, there's a way to do that that is good. I'm getting tired. My voice is falling asleep without the rest of my body. You guys ever have that happen? It happens to me all the time. In a lot of ways, aside from the dry rasp, this is actually what I would consider more close to my natural speaking voice, which will sound, well, let's try. I was going to say, if I sit up and speak like this is what I would consider my natural speaking voice. Or it's a little high still, actually. But like it's so monotone and so drony that like most of the time when I talk like this, nobody listens to me. Sometimes I'll be talking to them and they won't hear like what I'm saying. It's like, so most of the time I talk up here, try and pull it from like way down in my normal like speaky kind of throaty chest voice, and I put it like right in the back of my mouth, which gives it a little bit more of a nasally tone. And I've talked about that before on this YouTube video too, or this YouTube channel as well. So like, I don't know. I don't know what's up with the world. I don't necessarily need or want anything, and like the philosophy of Jackson is pretty cool right now. I like me. I've always tended to like me, like no matter what's going on, so I feel like that's pretty good and cool. But like I feel like everything's in a good spot right now. And the potential like futures all seem to trend upward, and like everything feels good right now. Even though nothing has changed really at all, as far as where I'm at in life and what I've been doing and all the other stuff. Just like the philosophy, like I was saying, like in internal things is like a happy person is a terrible consumer. You ever heard that saying before? I'm sure I'm missing part of it because it kind of flows together more eloquently than that in whatever in my head is trying to repeat it. But like, if you're happy, you're a terrible consumer, right? You don't need things or objects or whatever to be happy, but like, that's just the nature of a consumerist, capitalist kind of universe that we tend to exist in. And so like, all my needs are met, therefore I am happy, and it worked. I've used that exact phrase in an old YouTube video. Forgive me for not knowing the exact name of it, because I've probably said it more than once, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I have all the things, and that used to make me not happy, because I used to just look around and say like, these aren't my things, these are things provided by like my circumstances, specifically my parents or whatever. And so I wanted to like get out of my parents' basement and forge my own path and do all the own, things and have my own money and whatever else. But like, um, there's a process that I was introduced to the first time I ever saw a therapist, is I was asking him about um, like cognitive behavioral therapies and different things like that, which he thought was super cool because I was the first person that he ever had as like a client or patient or whatever that talked to him directly about that kind of stuff. And he's worked in the industry for a long time, and I was like, cool, that makes me feel good that I like know what I'm talking about at least a little bit. But he didn't necessarily like that one or thought that that would do well with me, and he introduced me to one that's a little bit newer, um, and not as well like researched and stuff. But they call it ACT, or acceptance and commitment therapy. Um, and I've forgotten my point now because my ADHD brain kind of does that. It's off to like 10 other things while my mouth is trying to catch up with what I was thinking about. But just, I guess that concept was what I was trying to get across, like acceptance and commitment. So you commit to something, accept things as they are, commit to doing something else, and then working on like those repeating cycles until you can get something to work. Now I really want to go back and like watch this, but I can't replay it. I had a point. Shoot. The problem with that is that I want to remember the point, but I'm never going to. So I guess that's just the end of the video. Also, just as note, George Bush Sr.'s funeral was today. And I don't know why I feel like I should say that, but I'll watch this video back later and probably want to remember that was today for some reason. The day I put a hole in the wall with my one wheel. Shh, don't tell anybody. I already told my dad, but it's okay. Nobody watches this video. And I guess with that, I'm gonna go take my Mewtwo. I think I have a Mewtwo in here. Oh, it's on mute. Hold on. I'm gonna say that's Mewtwo. I'm gonna go take my Mewtwo and then go to sleep now, even though it's time is it? No, I can't see the time. It's probably getting closer to lunchtime, maybe 10 or 11 o'clock or something in the morning. But I'm super tired, so I'm going to sleep now. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful 2019, and I will see you whenever I see you next. Okay, bye.